He tells his students that the magic of science is not found in a textbook. You see, Mike Meneghetti believes that children are born natural scientists. They're curious about everything. As a teacher, all you need to do is stoke that curiosity. That's why Mr. Meneghetti has at least 3 hands-on activities a week in his classes. He wants students to touch, to experience science. And those activities vary widely. One is the magnetic levitation train, a challenge in spring semester where students work in pairs to design, build, and test a train that can levitate and move down a 16-foot track. There's also the experiment involving clear sandwich bags, tap water, and Alka-Seltzer. Students see not only the bags expanding from the production of carbon dioxide gas, but they also discover the water gets colder. But perhaps the most famous of Mr. Meneghetti's activities is something he calls the Albonian Mystery Box. This is where he pours a clear liquid into the top of the box every 5 minutes, and each time a different colored liquid emerges. Students work together to try to figure out what's inside the box. They always want to know the secret. He tells them if they come back to his class after they graduate from high school, he will tell them. He usually has between 25 and 50 former students return every year. Anybody know what's inside the box? Well, no. Sorry, not going to tell you. It's all part of Mr. Meneghetti's Socratic method of teaching, where what's important isn't the answer, but the process of discovery. It's a way of teaching that has drawn students to science for more than 3 decades now. Pedro Avila, a former student from 18 years ago, wrote us to recommend his former instructor, and he said this: Mr. M taught us about math and science without neglecting the poetry and intrigue inherent in these systems. The excitement he showed has taught me that the lesson is never, ever, ever over, because I always want more. And though he insists I call him Mike, because I now know him as a grown-up, he will always be Mr. M in my mind, and I will always be his 6th grade student. So please welcome our 3rd Eukel Award recipient of this evening, Stanley Middle School science teacher, Mr. Michael Meneghetti.
The last time I was at the Diablo Country Club, I was making a futile attempt to impress my high school prom date while wearing an uncomfortable ruffled shirt. I think it was perfect. Thank you to everyone who made this exceptional evening possible. The high school prom doesn't come close. Thank you to the Warren Eukel Foundation for this wonderful honor. I am blessed beyond words. Congratulations to Karen Kreider and Paul Brabinski. It is a privilege to be included among the list of talented teachers. I'll repeat that last good line. It is a privilege to be included among the list of talented teachers who have received and are yet to receive this award. I am fortunate to be surrounded by colleagues whose dedication inspires me every day, and an administration that has trusted and supported my work. Most recently, my superintendent, Rachel Zinn, Principal David Schrag, and Vice Principals Betsy Bauman and Brian Mangle. I must also acknowledge Paula Dowsman, Fred Brill, Tony McShane, Camille Moore, and Larry Shepard. These are past administrators whose support and encouragement have also made a significant difference in my growth as an educator. And of course, thank you to my local education foundation, whose has a long-standing support of science and technology. Of course, thank you to my wife, Julia. In addition to being my best friend, she is my fashion consultant and compass. I am both colorblind and I literally get lost in Sears. Do you need a fashion consultant? She has, for the most part, fully supported my obsession with science and engineering. Many years ago, I had some leftover dry ice from school, and we were holding a dinner party that same evening. When I brought out the dry ice, my wife shot me a look that said, "Don't. Really now?" To say the guest played with gusto is an understatement. Julia told me later that one of the guests said it was one of the best dinner parties he had ever attended. Julia has been my most devoted cheerleader for more than a quarter of a century. And even after 26 years, the cheers have gotten louder. I can honestly say I wouldn't be standing here without her support. She's heard this speech at least 15 times. Hasn't heard that part. I would also like to thank my daughters, Angela and Lauren. Ever since they were old enough to speak, I would try a lot of my activities with them. And for the most part, they were enthusiastic participants. However, on occasion, I would get questions like, "Is that all?" Or, "Daddy, how does my hair look?" Pause for laughter.
He's good.
I can't see anything. I wanted to be a teacher ever since I can remember, but I'm not sure we are born to be teachers. There had to have been a catalyst, or something we admired in the teachers we had in the past. And we, in turn, must be for the inspiration for those who follow us. I was very fortunate to have had teachers who encouraged and inspired me. In 7th grade, I shared with my English teacher, Mrs. Stryker, that I wanted to become a teacher when I grew up. And she encouraged me to teach a lesson. I had the class participate in a game about the use of adverbs. And I thought, now this is cool. In middle school and high school, my interest in science waned, and it was a college professor discussing the molecular behavior of soap that caught my attention. Now I know soap isn't all that exciting, but it was about explaining the science behind what is commonplace. That simple act renewed my interest in science and very possibly shaped my future. I had a professor at Diablo Valley College who made a profound impact on my writing, a profound impact. When she returned a paper I had written, it was as though her red pen had exploded all over the page. On the back it said, "Mike, don't you like what you write? Your ideas are really quite good, but they get lost in all of the misspellings and grammar mistakes." I still have that paper, and I keep it as a reminder. I had never been told that my ideas were good, or that they became lost because of my neglect. Another professor at Chico State gave each of our lab groups. Woo! I should have picked other professors from Chico State. Another professor at Chico State gave each of our lab groups a box of supplies and challenged us to design an experiment using only the materials in the box. I thought this was one of the most engaging experiences I ever had in school. I was so inspired by the process that I've designed similar activities for my science and engineering classes. As I began teaching, all of these and many other experiences along the way played a part. Put simply, my approach is that teaching shouldn't be just covering subject matter. Our students should be provided with opportunities to uncover and discover. I love providing experiences that engage, promote deeper thinking, and heighten curiosity. I am thrilled when I hear my students heading off to their next class, still discussing the day's activity, or parents telling me that their frequent dinner conversation is what happened in science or robotics class. When former students come back to visit 6 years after leaving my classroom to have the secret of the Albonian mystery box revealed, I am delighted, a little surprised, and immensely proud. Now, after 32 years in the classroom, I have come to realize many things. How I teach makes an immeasurable difference in a child's love of learning. I am forever learning from, for, and with my students. Never, ever leave hot glue guns unattended. And school smoke alarms are extremely sensitive. Even 13-year-olds who try not to show any emotion become animated and amazingly overjoyed when the LED lights in their soldering projects simply blink on and off. Children have a strong desire to know and make sense of the world around them, and that need can result in unexpected questions. For example, I ask my students to imagine if we had put a satellite into orbit around the Earth 200 million years ago, and it took pictures of the Earth every several million years. If those pictures were put into a short video, it would show the continents moving away from each other in an uneven fashion because the ocean floor grows at different rates. Immediately a hand went up, and a student asked, "Do you have a copy of that video?"